I want to go out to the old Daily Shot hotline and see if we can bring in a very special guest here who is coming from far away. Spain. Hello, are you on the line?
Barcelona. Let's be specific. Barcelona.
Yes. Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you sound great. You sound better than
amazing.
You sound better
and
than
you coming
Dan.
from Barcelona? Jeez.
Dan,
yeah, take notes.
Hi guys, coming from Barcelona.
Hi.
So this is the official hotline to reach Katherine Robbins, who is in Barcelona.
Yeah.
Welcome to the program.
Thanks, Barry. Nice talking to you. I haven't heard from you in a while.
Well, it's,
What's going
you're
on?
fancy across the pond, doing all the fancy things that you Europeans do. So I understand.
Yeah, quite cultured over here. But the experience I feel has been quite shocking to us over here in Spain. It's been quite awful, to be honest.
Really? So now, how long have you been in lockdown?
So our official date was March 14th. Was the date that we were told that we can't go out. So we actually went out that day thinking, okay, it's going to start Monday, like the weekend would be fine. And we got stopped immediately by the police here, who are absolutely terrifying, and told us to go home or we'd be thrown in jail. So then Monday comes along and we were like, okay, we actually have to go to the grocery store. Like, let's go to the store across the street, literally across the street. We stepped outside our front door and went to cross in the crosswalk, and 2 police officers stopped us and basically like cornered us against the wall and asked for, our social security numbers, where we live. And we were like, we live right here. This is our front door. And they're like, I don't know, just basically screaming at us. And basically was like, if you don't go inside, we will either fine you or arrest you. And B was like, fine. My boyfriend was like, fine, arrest me. Like, I'm in front of my house. What do you want? And I guess
that's the spirit.
Yeah. Oh, it's actually terrifying.
Absolutely.
She's actually calling from prison.
Yeah. So,
I hope you didn't use your one phone call on this.
No, I have. No, but you can't go out more than one person outside. So, 2 at a time can't go. It has to be one person from the household. And now they've enforced that you have to have a police certificate. So you have to apply for it online before you leave the house. And you have to put in, all of your information, your social security number, and they, obviously where you live, where you're going. And they give you like a certificate of approval, and then you have to have that on your phone, and you have to have a time-stamped receipt of where you've gone and purchased something within like the 30 minutes of being outside, or however long it obviously takes you to go to the grocery store. And if you get stopped and you don't have those, then you get a 3,000 euro fine, or if you resist, you get thrown in jail. 3,000 euros.
So if you are not out at the time that the government has assigned you to be out, you get a 3,000 euro fine.
Sounds like a third Reich over there.
Yeah, did they put tattoos on your arms yet? Do you have a forearm number or anything?
They say it's anywhere between 600 and 6,000, but I've heard it's on average 3,000. So.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. And so how are people, like the general public in Barcelona, how are people taking this? Is this acceptable, or are people getting a little hot, or what's the temperature?
Yeah, they're calling it, draconian law. So, it's like very harsh, and people here in Spain, they're still used to socializing and being outside and, having their sangria on patios and out in the sun. Nobody has, TV here, cable, everyone has their balconies and their outside time, and it's been very, like, you can actually, like, feel the anxiety in the air. Like, it's very palpable. And, we live in a big apartment complex, and we don't have a balcony. So we literally have a few hours of sunshine from our back windows, and that's it. And, everybody in kind of our complex and everybody facing the courtyard has the same situation. So it's definitely painful, to say the least. Nobody's happy.
So now, what are they telling you in terms of what does the end of this look like? Are they giving you any sign of where the light is in the tunnel right now?
Not really. I've been trying to read up as much as possible, but it's kind of in the air. The problem with Spain is that it's so divided, and especially where we live. The Catalans have their own, our space here is governed differently than, Madrid. They give us a little bit more independence on this side, and, they got the far left and the far right. So it's very divided in terms of, what should be the next step. But ultimately right now, final say within Madrid. So right now it's extended until May 9th, and word is it's going to be extended at least until June. Beyond that, slow integration with slow, stores and, clothing stores, stuff like that, opening, and restaurants probably being last. But it doesn't really look like there's an end in sight. So.
Katherine, did you move to Spain? Are you there permanently?
For now, yeah, we don't really have a plan. But my boyfriend, he's European, he's Italian, so we can move anywhere in Europe, and they gave me residency here. So as of right now, we're full-time residents, and don't really have any plans to move anywhere else at the time, unless something else comes along. So.
Has this changed your opinion of wanting to do that? Like, do you feel like the way this has been handled, you want to go somewhere else, or do you feel safe and happy and comfortable?
That's a really good question. I've been kind of thinking about this. Like, would I rather be home in the States, with my family, or, somewhere else? And to be honest, America sounds actually terrifying right now, like more terrifying. I kind of like that there is such strict laws and rules here, because it, you know what to do. Like, I can't go inside. I have to stay inside. So I have some more order kind of in my life, not necessarily like being inside. I don't know what to do with myself, obviously, but I know I can't go outside. I know I can't do certain things. I feel like in the States and some other places, it's so like, well, you can go outside and kind of, just keep your distance and see what happens. I feel here a little bit more secure and safe, knowing, first of all, healthcare is free. So if I, do get sick, then I don't have to worry about paying for it. And, do such a good job of tracking things and testing and blah, blah, blah. I feel like I would be worse off, and a little bit more confused and unsure of things, being back in the States at least. So I know.
Everything Barry hates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel actually like a lot better being here.
No, this is good. This confirms everything that I've suspected, which is that I don't want anything to do with Europe. So that's good.
No, I mean, there's no guns here, Barry, so, I don't think you'd be happy, but there is good food.
I am wearing my Gun Owners Action League hat today. So Spain overall, second hardest hit country in terms of positive tests behind the U.S., about 220,000, 22,000 deaths out of that. So Spain, pretty hard hit too. Are people, I think here in the States, there's a sense, we have almost 1 million cases, and although 50,000 people have died, the numbers seem tremendously lower than what we were originally thinking when we went into this lockdown mode. Are people feeling like they are scared for themselves, or do you think that they are scared for other people at this point? What's the tone of that?
I think here there's a more sense of community than there is maybe in the States, where everyone's kind of out for their own and, does things on their own time and, screw everybody else. If I get sick, I get sick. Here it's like, if you actually do step outside and if you don't get stopped by the police, you'll hear people yelling at you from the balcony to go home. And I think it's more of a sense of community here. Like, you need to stay inside to save everybody else, not just yourself. And I think part of that is because there is so many older people here. That's why Italy got hit so hard, is because there is such an old community there, and the people that haven't left, the young kids go out and explore the world, and it's just the older community that are still in these old countries. And I think people are trying to protect that. And because most of the people that have passed away here and in Italy have been that older community, it really is, don't be selfish, think about everybody else. And you kind of really feel that here. Even if you do go to the grocery store, there's a police officer at the entrance that makes you sanitize your hands, give you gloves and give you a mask to walk through the store, and you can only go in, one by one, and it's really, I mean, it is scary, but honestly, they're not letting you do your own thing here. They're actually forcing you to think of everybody else as the bigger person.
Okay. Yeah, I have two questions here on the state there. One is economy. What is the economy like right now in Spain? Businesses obviously must be pretty shuttered. And two, what's the temperature of mental health? I think, one thing kind of gets pushed to the wayside in all this is the mental health of being cooped up, of being in your house, locked in your house, lack of control, lack of know what's going to happen. So kind of a two-part question there. What's the economy like, and what's the status of the mental health that you're seeing around you?
Yeah, I mean, the economy, as far as I can see, so I'm in real estate. I am a real estate agent here, and we're still getting listings, and I'm still getting people contacting me for, hey, I need to find a rental, but you can't move at this time. They're not letting you. So there's so many people that are, stuck in certain situations, and the stores have been closed even before our March 14th date. I think the stores closed 3 or 4 days before that. So, things have been shut down here, and the economy here is really, at least in Barcelona, is based on tourism. Like, I think the number is 35% of the revenue that we get here in Barcelona is through tourism. And, we've got more hotels and more bars in this city than we do anywhere else in Spain. And that's all completely affected, all the bars, all the clubs, all the stores, big box stores like, H&M and Zara. Everybody's shut down, and everybody's worried that they're not going to recover from this. And they're not.
So how does that spur into the mental health? How does that spur how people feel about themselves, about their futures?
I mean, unfortunately, I really haven't been able to talk to anybody here. But I do have a few, right. I can't, talk to anybody, but, I do have a couple friends here from the U.S., and everybody is really like, I mean, I know I'm getting upset because I'm an active person. I like to exercise, and I can't even go for a run right now. I don't have, any way to do anything really other than, push-ups, sit-ups. It's getting tough, and, a lot of people in our building have kids, and we're starting to hear the screams of children, you know what I mean, and it's not in a good way. And there are some instances where people, are playing music and, trying to be lively outside on their balconies. You do have people going out there with pianos and guitars sometimes and trying to sing together and bring the morale up. But ultimately, from what I can see, just like seeing my neighbors out, our windows when they're in the sun, it's not good. And every time it gets pushed back, we've been pushed back every 2 weeks to keep it getting extended. I hear the cries of people and, obviously online and everything like that. Everybody is so upset. And they're not letting children outside. So as of right now, only adults have been able to go to the grocery store or to the pharmacies, and they don't allow children out. So these people that have, children under 16 years old, because 16-year-olds can go out, but anyone with children under 16 have literally had their kids inside with them this entire time, and we're almost at 2 months. So you're starting to see people petition for at least letting children out for a lot of times during the day. And I think that's going to...
It's sunshine. They need to get outside.
And there would virtually no risk.
Nothing, yeah. I mean, every apartment in our building is the same size, and we're at about almost 1,000 square feet. I mean, I think there's people above us that have 2 or 3 kids, and they're young kids, and we hear them like scream. I cannot imagine how hard that is.
What do single, like if you have a single parent, how do they go to the pharmacy or go to the market?
Honestly,
I mean, she doesn't work for the government. How does she know?
Well,
I don't know. I don't know.
And friends, people like to talk to her.
No, nobody likes to talk to her but us.
Nobody else does right now. No, but to be honest, I think so. Out of almost 2 months, I've been to the grocery store maybe 3 or 4 times, and I've been out for work purposes twice. So that's really 5 or 6 times I've been out in 2 months. I haven't seen a child with an adult at the grocery store or like on the streets. I haven't seen a single child. Last time I was at the grocery store a couple of days ago, I did see someone that looked like a foreigner, so maybe like a German, and she had a bunch of suitcases, and she had 2 children with her, and she got stopped by the police, and they were yelling at her, and she was obviously not speaking Spanish, so I don't know if maybe she was like locked out of a hotel or Airbnb or something, but any children. So I have no idea what they do. Maybe just, lock their kid up in a car or something.
I think they're gonna look back at this as being such an unenlightened period. I really think this is gonna go down in history as such a disaster. What we're doing,
this will definitely be studied in schools, and our children will learn all about this, and they'll do reports on it and interview us and say, "Daddy, what was it like during the quarantine?"
Yeah.
And I'll say, "Listen to your sister talk about it."
Did you get a low number grocery pass, Daddy? Did you get a low number on your get out of jail card?
Yeah, well, the problem is, too, there's a lot of students, too, that can't go to university and don't have jobs because they're in school. Like, what about those? Like, there's just so many unfortunate circumstances. And then you look at Italy, too. I mean, they already have a low economy, not so much money circulating. And then you've got a lot of, the poor communities, and it's really bad there too.
Well, that's a big. I mean, the GDP of Spain, which is slightly smaller than Italy, both have a smaller GDP than the state of California. I mean, they're and even smaller than France, if you can believe that.
Yeah, no, I believe it. There's a lot of poor communities. But I mean, I'm thankful that it's hard. I can't really work right now. The real estate market's kind of on hold, but I'm lucky that my boyfriend has a secure job. I mean, I can imagine, if he and I were both bartenders, what the hell would we do? So
right.
Careful.
Well, thank you so much for telling us all about that, Katherine. That's heartbreaking and incredible.
But
yeah, keep in touch. We were going to offer to come over there and extricate you and rescue you back here to the land of freedom.
Sounds like she's happy though.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to be able to go outside and go running, but there's so many people that are disobeying the social distancing and the mask. I mean, obviously, I knew Barry, you said you weren't going to wear a mask, but that's fine. I haven't worn a mask either, but I know, and I haven't worn a mask either, but being out in crowds of, 100 people protesting, I mean, one person goes with corona and everybody's sick and you bring it back home, and it just sounds way too unsure and scary. I'd rather kind of be locked up at this point.
Barry, what's the worst that can happen? You get coronavirus and you get very, 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 very sick, and you potentially infect other people, all because you won't wear a mask. Do you find that there is a point where you're like, well, what's the harm in me wearing a mask versus the monumental harm I can cause other people for not wearing a mask?
It's his body, his choice. No.
Well, there you go.
I have to deal with him in my society.
She got it. It's at the end of the day, we're gonna learn some things. New York just did a big study. They found that in New York City, they think about 20% to 30% of the population has already had and resolved this virus. We're going to find out. Mm-hmm. This is my prediction, and we have a global health expert coming up later in the show who can tell me what an idiot I am. But I'm telling you, we're going to find out that a huge number of people have had this, that it is not particularly dangerous. And they, Italy's health minister released statistics that show you 98 to 99% of people who died from this had one or more pre-existing conditions that led them to have a bad course with this virus. Most people will get this and resolve it. Unlike the tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions of people who have been cast into economic despair around the world, they're not going to recover. People are going to get the virus and recover. This is all about politics.
So, hey, just to jump in real quick, look at some stats. Spain, a population of 46 million people, has an infection rate of about 5%, with 219,000 cases confirmed. Problem with Spain is they're at about a 10% mortality with 22,000 deaths. So, it seems like the managing of the infection is a bigger problem than the amount of people infected in Spain right now, just to give it some context.
The problem is there's a lot of public health because the healthcare is free. So there's a lot of public hospitals that can't really take on, and there's fewer people here that have the private health care, and most of the people use, the free health care systems, which are obviously not going to be as nice or suitable for large numbers of people.
It almost sounds like you get what you pay for.
Yeah, that's true. No, honestly, I mean, they do have good health care here. Like, you are well taken care of, but I don't think they were actually physically able to hold as many people, as got sick in the first wave of things. So,
I mean, Spain's death rate is so much higher than the U.S. I think that's worth pointing out.
Yeah.
Well, I think you got a couple of things that work against them. I mean, the age of the population is one thing, but when you talk about GDP and you talk about the economy, our ability to scale up, although we didn't need it, the Comfort, the USHS, whatever comfort ship that was in New York, we were able to dispatch hospital ships, build field hospitals and convention centers, mobilize the military. We had a huge capacity. We ultimately, it looks like, haven't needed it, but I think other countries don't have that kind of resource that they can just tap.
Right, and we have a big cruise ship port here, and they had a cruise ship that was docked, maybe over a month ago, and they just let the people off the cruise ship a few days ago because they didn't have the ability to take in all those people that were sick from the cruise ship. So imagine being stuck on this big ship with no medical attention at all, and a third of the people had corona. And
is the bar still open?
Barcelona was like, I mean, maybe, but they wouldn't even let the people come off the ship, and they're all foreigners, they're not people that live here. So,
if you got the unlimited drink package on that cruise, you're killing it. I mean, you are killing it.
It's my dream. No, but
all right, Katherine.
Wait, I do have a question. My question for you though. Sorry, I'm taking your time. But you're saying that this is all politics and economics and stuff. What should have the response been to everything? Rather than shutting it down, what should everybody have done?
I like Katherine. This is good. Could you join us more often?
Well, look, I and here's the kind of the opposite reality is at the end of February, beginning of March, I thought that it was insane, the idea that the U.S. would be where it is now. But we got into a situation where the government started to believe information from groups that I think were engaged in advocacy that said that we were going to have hundreds of millions of infections and millions of deaths from this virus. So at that point, we were all in, right? Even I said we can't have 2.5 million people drop dead in the next 2 months. We have to do this. Whatever the damage is, we have to do this. But now we're in a situation 6 weeks later where we understand, particularly in the U.S., that we have the capacity to manage these infections. I think you're going to find that between a third and half of the people who die in this country are going to be in nursing homes and skilled nursing facilities. We know exactly who is really susceptible to a bad course with this virus. So instead of spending $4 trillion to $6 trillion to keep everybody locked up at home, we could send healthy people back to work and spend that money to protect the people who really need protection. I think we need to pivot on this strategy now that we understand what the scale of it is.
Okay. I mean, I
sounds
could on
reasonable.
this topic forever, but okay.
We'll hear from an expert, Barry. So throw your theory out to her, and we'll see what. Hopefully,
in about 10 minutes, I'm gonna get shredded. So stay tuned because I'm about to get. But it won't matter because I'm a redneck and I don't care. I just think what I think. But
exactly.
I'm gonna get torpedoed in about 10 minutes.
Hopefully, I look forward to hearing this.
That's not nice.
I'm just kidding.
All right, Katherine.
All right, guys.
Hey, listen, keep in touch.
Yeah, thank you so much, Katherine.
Be safe over there, okay?
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right,
Bye.
be safe over there.